Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a video talking to you about this Hardhead Veterans bump helmet that I've been using for close to a year now. This has been the first and only helmet that I've been using in this night vision series so far. I have had a chance to handle a couple other companies' helmets and try on some helmets that belong to some friends of mine, but this is the one that belongs to me and the one that I've been predominantly running again for about a year now. So I feel like it's probably about time for me to give you my thoughts. Now, obviously, this is far from how it comes out of the box from Hardhead Veterans. We're going to be running over that. But first, I want to talk once again about why I chose this to be the first bump helmet that I chose. So I've heard a lot of stuff in the night vision world and in the tactical world about Hardhead Veterans. A lot of people very critical of some of their products out there. However, a lot of that seems to be centered around their ballistic rated helmets. I'm not here to comment on that because we're talking about a bump helmet. So a lot of the criticisms that were out there were completely irrelevant to me because as a bump helmet, all I needed to do is to hold all the accessories I needed to hold, mainly my night vision device, counterweight, hearing protection, all those things. And I needed to be comfortable. And I figured that this would probably suit the bill pretty well. It is priced in a range where I felt it was reasonable without being so cheap that it was suspect quality. And, you know, as opposed to some of those like Amazon helmets you can find, Hardhead Veterans does have a name reputation that they're trying to uphold, so clearly they're not going to just be some crazy fly-by-night online retailer. They actually are going to be putting out a product that they're going to put their name onto. So that is why I chose this one. And then as far as why I chose a bump helmet over a ballistic helmet, for me, part of it was cost. Ballistic helmets are significantly more expensive, and then also one of the big things for me was weight. So I wanted something that wasn't going to be excessively heavy, especially starting out, you know, adding what weight is already here to my neck. Took some getting used to. It would obviously be significantly worse if we were to be using a ballistic rated helmet. Also, call me crazy, I feel like the little bit of coverage you get from one of these helmets, I don't know, it just wasn't worth the extra money, because if I get shot in the head with a 44 Magnum, even if this stops it, it's gonna be a really bad day. So anyway, with that out of the way, I also want to talk on my relationship with Hardhead Veterans, and there's really not a relationship. I reached out to them to get some questions answered about what was going to be the most likely to ship within a certain time span, because I had a night shoot coming up that I wanted it ready for. But beyond that, I didn't get a discount on this thing. They haven't provided me with no products. I've purchased a lot of products from them, but as far as I'm aware, they don't know that I exist. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into how I have this thing set up. So first and foremost, we have my PVS 14 here on the front. You can see my little boogly eyes there. Not going to be talking too much about that in this video, but we have a built-in, I'm not going to be talking about this retention system either. We have a built-in mount here that comes pre-installed that you can use with any standard night vision mount. Very, very securely mounted in there. Haven't had it come loose, and that was kind of one of the main things that I wanted to get out of one of these helmets. It's held up well. There's little dings and scratches and everything in there, but overall it's holding up really well. The structural integrity is still there, and obviously that's a really good thing. You do have these included bungee cords that attach underneath here in case you wanted to have a bungee that hooks into your mount or your night vision device to hold everything steady. I have instead opted for one of these little Velcro hangers here with a shock cord, and that has been working well for me. Probably touch on that more when we talk about the PVS-14 itself. Let me set this down safely. You'll see on the sides and on the top here, and even on the back, I have these little 1x1 IR reflectors. These are just Velcroed on, so if I'm worried about people being able to see the reflection, I can tear those things off. But under IR, if my friends are trying to see me, if I'm at the range with them, this is just going to help me stand out a little bit better, which is good. I don't want my friends to shoot me. I picked these up from Gear. Gear is a really great source for anything night vision related, whether it be night vision devices, IR lasers and illuminators, accessories like this, flashlights, anything and everything. I highly, highly recommend going through Gear for that stuff. I'll have a link down below to his website. But those, again, something I can easily remove, but just to help kind of identify me with my friends. Moving back here, I have one of the Nightcore IR beacons and strobes. So it is removable here. It comes with this little Velcro mount, so I'm able to attach it to the helmet. And then this guy pulls out. It can do a strobe. It can do constant in both IR and visible green. So again, when I'm at the range training with my friends, I want to be as visible to them as possible. And again, having the Velcro here on top makes that easy to do. I should mention the Velcro now. You do have Velcro patches right out of the box with this thing. A little bit down here on the front. You have it kind of in a mohawk style all across the top going to the back. You have these little patches here over where your cutouts are for your hearing protection. And then you've also got it going up here on the sides, and then also underneath this counterweight back here. So I have yet to find a need for more Velcro space. It's working very well as is. I know there are some people who go a little bit crazier with patches and all that. If that's your jam, maybe you might need more, but for what I'm doing, it is perfectly sufficient. So moving back to the counterweight back here, this is the Hardhead Veterans counterweight. I've got it set up currently. It comes with just a bunch of weights. I've got extra AA batteries for my PVS-14. I need to do some CR123s for my Sidewinder here from Streamlight, but this is their counterweight. Works really well as a counterweight to help balance out the weight on the front of the helmet. So really liking that. As you can see here on the side, like I just mentioned, I have my Streamlight Sidewinder. I have that currently on a piece of pick rail that goes into the M-LOK, because if you haven't noticed yet, instead of like the arc rail adapters or something like that, we have M-LOK rail. So that is how accessories are going to mount to these helmets. We'll talk about that later when we're talking about pros and cons, but suffice to say that that is there. Works really well for mounting this, although it does sit pretty far off the side of the helmet, if you can see that. Now, moving off to the sides here, I have some Peltor Comtac 5s. These are on the Unity Tactical adapters to M-LOK. I can swing them to the back, however, I'm just letting them kind of hang loose down here because I don't want to damage the ear cups or damage the hearing protection. These things are really freaking expensive, and I am hoping to make them last as long as possible. But that's got my down lead, it's got my mic and everything else, so I can run that into my push to talk and communicate once again with the people that I'm at the range at. So that's kind of all the stuff on the outside. We do have some vent holes up here for what that's worth. And then you've also got a little bit more ventilation on the sides. So again, this is not going to stop bullets or anything. This is simply a bump helmet. it may also be worth pointing out at this point, if you didn't already notice, I did spray paint this thing. This is not the color that it came out of the box as. This was a flat dark earth helmet because that was the thing they said would ship the quickest at that point in time. I'm not saying that's a blanket statement. However, I didn't like that shade of FDE being where I'm at in Oregon, so I went ahead and kind of did my own little spray paint camo pattern, taping over the Velcro so that I didn't lose the benefits of that hook and loop by painting over it. So with all the outside stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the inside. So I will actually fold these up just so we can see better what's going on internally here. So we have a suspension system along with some pads inside there. Hopefully there's enough light to see inside the helmet. Now, one thing that I like about Hardhead Veterans is it comes with two sets, if I remember correctly, two sets of the internal pads so that you can size it more adequately to your head. If it was just one size, you'd have to be really perfect on the sizing when you ordered the helmet. By having a couple different thicknesses of those internal pads, again, you can really size it to yourself. There is no like tensioner on the back that would typically lock under kind of the back of your head. It's just this padded section here. And I will say that having worn this again now for a year and at times so for some pretty extended periods, the padding in here is perfectly adequate. I'm not going to say it's the best because I don't have enough experience to say that, but it's far from the worst. And again, it just feels very comfortable. Now, one of the things that I like about the suspension system is it is very quick to adjust. You can see here there's clips both on the back end here and on the side, and it's going to be mirrored on the other side here. And it's really quick to adjust. You just pull down on this little latch here, and then you can pull that up to give yourself more space, or pull it down to make it tighter. Did I have that right? Yeah. And then you can kind of lock it down. So it's very easy to quickly adjust it on the fly. Not that you're really going to need to, other than initially sizing it, but you can wear the helmet, fine tune and find where everything needs to be, and then you can lock it in place. And I haven't had these adjust at all on me. One of the other things that I really like about this helmet is the chin strap is magnetized. So you have a little lip here, and I'll hopefully maybe get a close-up picture or close-up shot of how this works. But it's always hard taming the beard into this thing. You just kind of catch it. Let me come closer here. Kind of catch it inside that little lip, and then it magnets in. And then when I want to take it back off, I just have this little pull tab here, pull that out, and it comes off very easily. So very easy to don and doff. Hopefully I didn't mess up my beautiful hair there. One of the realities of wearing helmets like this is it's going to interfere with the beard a little bit, but so far it's been pretty good with this. So now that we've talked about kind of the features and how mine is set up, let's talk about the pros and cons.
You hit your white light.
So let's go ahead and start with the pros. So some of these are going to be things I've mentioned already along this video, but first is going to be cost. So when I bought mine, this one ran about $200. Now, there are cheaper helmets out there. There are far more expensive bump helmets out there. But again, this was kind of that price range where I felt like I was going to be getting decent quality and good performance without having to spend a ton, but also not spending so little that I'm worried about if it's going to be comfortable, if it's going to be durable, if it's going to hold everything securely. When I have, you know, potentially a couple $1,000s or a few $1,000s or a couple tens of thousands of dollars hanging off the front of my helmet, I don't want to be worried in the back of my head about whether or not it's actually going to hold everything securely. And again, this has been doing a very good job of that. The other nice thing is weight. Now again, I'm not going to say that this is the lightest. It's definitely not the most heavy bump helmet out there, but one of the big benefits of bump helmets in general is that you're saving a ton of weight, which is really good. Now I have heard some people say that with the ballistic helmets, they're heavy enough that you don't need a counterweight back here, so maybe you're having to sacrifice some of that weight savings by adding weight to it. But again, for being able to wear this thing for hours and hours on end, I'm very happy with the weight and how it gets distributed once everything is set up. I do also like how everything is able to attach to this. So like I said, I have plenty of Velcro space for everything that I need. I also have the M-LOK slots to be able to attach everything. You know, everything is set up to be able to attach things that people are going to want to attach to their helmet. And I do like that it has these bungee cords already built in. Now, again, I'm not using those bungee cords currently, but you at least have that option. So depending on what kind of system you're running, you have those already available straight out of the box. Now, again, things that I've already talked about, the suspension system, I really do like. It works very well for me. I've tried other suspension systems, and this one is just kind of the most straightforward and simplest, especially from a beginner's perspective. Being able to just magnet that chin strap in to take it back off, and then being able to adjust things on the fly has been really handy and just made it a little bit better of a learning experience when integrating a helmet into my setup. And then also the comfort. Like I said, those internal pads are very comfortable. And again, by being able to size it to your head, it's going to just set you up for success in the long run. And then the last one I want to talk about again is specifically the M-LOK sections. So you have the M-LOK sections all around the side here. If I can pull my Ear Pro out of the way, you've got 3 sections of M-LOK across the side, one on the top here, and then one angled at the back of the helmet, and it's mirrored on the other side here. So the M-LOK attachment system has been very well proven over the last several years. It is becoming more and more universal in the market. So a lot of accessories that people are going to have are already M-LOK. So having that interface as opposed to some of the other ones where you have to get special parts for is really nice. So with that said, let's move on to the cons. And the first con I'm going to talk about is the M-LOK. So the M-LOK, again, while I just praised it and I like how universal it is, the reality is a lot of the existing accessories for helmets is other attachments. So again, kind of arc rail being the main one there. Now again, more and more companies are making stuff for M-LOK, and you can always use M-LOK adapters. Again, to get my Streamlight on here, I was able to just kind of basically shorten an M-LOK rail section, attach that, and I'm now running this light, albeit again significantly further away from my head than I could if I had a different style of attachment here. So while I really do like the M-LOK in concept, the reality is a lot of those accessories you plan on putting on your helmet are not meant for that. Now the Unity Tactical is, you can get the specific M-LOK stuff, and it seems like more and more is becoming available, but just something to keep in mind. And beyond that, really the only other con that I could even think of isn't really a fair criticism to make here, and that it's not ballistic rated, but you're not getting a bump helmet to get a ballistic rating. So if a ballistic rating is something you want, a different helmet is going to better suit you. And again, Hardhead Veterans does make ballistic helmets, but that's a topic for another video and probably for people who have more experience than I do. So all in all, I really do like this helmet. It's been serving me really well. It's very comfortable. It does everything I need it to do, which again is just hold everything I need it to hold and be comfortable while doing so. you know, I've been finally getting into like the 193 height mount stuff, and being able to wear the helmet comfortably and do passive aiming. See if I can get this buckled in here. I don't have my can on it, and this is far from how this thing is finally set up, but being able to get my head comfortably behind the optic here on this taller mount with my helmet on, looking through the nod. Again, everything it's doing is what I need it to do, and I'm, again, very, very happy with my purchase overall. And if I could do it all over again, I would do it the same way. So if you're interested in getting into night vision and you're looking for a cost-effective yet effective way of getting into your helmet game, I think Hardhead Veterans is definitely worth the look. Again, there's a lot of naysayers online about different aspects of these helmets, but in my opinion, as long as you're going with a bump helmet, literally every single one of those arguments is completely null and void. And even then, I think that some of those criticisms may or may not have some merit. Granted, it's people who have a lot more experience than I do saying those things, but it's also worth mentioning that night vision is a game where there's always a bigger fish. No matter how much you spend on your setup, it's never enough. People are super, super elitist in this world. So take what some people say with a grain of salt. Again, I couldn't be happier with how this is set up. And I think when it is time for me to try a ballistic helmet, I think Hardhead Veterans is probably going to be the way that I go. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and throw that in the comment section down below. If you have any recommendations for helmets you like, whether it be bump helmets or ballistic helmets, definitely let me know. Again, I am still fairly new to this, so any advice and experience is appreciated in this journey of mine. Again, I'm no expert. I'm just letting you follow along in my journey here. So anyway, I do want to say thanks to my patrons for making a video like this one possible. Between being able to buy some of this stuff as well as get out to the range, especially these days with how crazy things are, being able to get to the range is something that I can directly attribute to the support I get over on Patreon. Because of that, I do post all my content over there early. We do live streams, we have a Discord server, so you can have a lot more kind of direct interaction there. In fact, I think we have a live stream next weekend, for what that's worth, depending on when you're seeing this. But anyway, we'll leave that soapbox alone for now. But anyway, with all that being said, as always, I hope you got something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.